And we're live, in the words of Mr. Tyler. So, welcome everybody to another extra show. This one pre-added time, going to be coming every Friday from 11:30 a.m. UK time. And look, I've got two guests from the main show. One in particular that I've wanted to see since Wednesday.
Oh,
but,
no.
for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Mr. Stu Palmer joins us here this morning. Grateful to have him as always. And also the mad dog, Mike Angus, who's just about everywhere at the moment. How you doing, guys? And good to have you here this morning.
I'm just here to hear about Tottenham versus Everton.
He's here to stir it. That's what he's here for.
I cannot wait to hear about that match. You guys said we needed defenders. Good God Almighty!
It was unbelievable, wasn't it? So we're going to go through the FA Cup games. Of course, Mike, as always, has got the nail on the head there, because it is going to be about, I'm sure, myself and Stu's reaction. Although there are a couple of days removed, so I might be a little bit more different about it. The emotions are not as high as they were the other night, I've got to say, but still a very wild night of what I would call old school FA Cup. It was much different to what we've been used to. There wasn't a lot of tactical manoeuvres. It was very much gun-ho. So just going to... Sorry, Stu. I've got you right in the middle for a reason there.
What we have done is fine.
We'll talk about these games. We'll see Stu later.
Face the radio.
Great to see you, Stu. I hope you're well, mate.
But I'm just going to fly through the results while they're on the screen. So we had Wolves 0, Southampton 2, which of course, what I think Wolves did, from the highlights I saw, they did look a little bit poor. I think Southampton deserved to win that. It's a good result for Southampton because they've been on a bit of a poor run, so that the cup will definitely help them, I would imagine. Mike, any thoughts from you on that one? Did you get to see any of it?
I didn't get to watch that one, unfortunately, but I know they play again at the weekend as well, and that is the scoreline I predicted for the weekend. So hopefully we'll get a repeat of that at the weekend, and my prediction will come true. But it could have been that they had that match in between that clouded my judgment. So so I got the score right anyway, which is good. So
he's happy. He's happy for that. Stu, any thoughts on that game, Southampton going through?
I've said it. I've said it all along. Can't put it on one player. It's not just Jimenez, but don't forget, Nuno has got a young team there. Let's just remember here, they took a punt on Fabio Silva before somebody else went in for him, got him for a good price. It's a young team, and he made changes last night. Morgan Gibbs-White played. John Ruddy was in goal. There was no Patricio. Southampton, if you look at the stats, the amount of shots they had, they were definitely the better team. But Wolves will come good, but it's going to take a bit of time, boys. I'm telling you that now, because it's a young squad, young team. In another couple of years, they'll be firing on all cylinders, definitely. Just in a bit of transition, I think.
Yeah, no, I probably agree there. Then we got Barnsley that went out to Chelsea 1-0. I've not seen any of the highlights from this game, so you guys will have to let me know there. But did Chelsea play like a full, strong team? Did they look like they were going out, or...?
They played a bit of a weakened team, to be fair. They had Kepa in goal, and they brought back quite a few players into the team who haven't played under the new manager. Kante was in, Pulisic was in, and I wasn't going to watch it. It came on, and I was like, this is going to be a drubbing. But then I started watching it, and Barnsley didn't look too bad, to be fair to them, but there was just something missing. But at the start, they had a few chances. There was a couple of times when I thought that should have gone in. And Kepa, who has been a bit of a nightmare for Chelsea, actually made a cracking save near the start. And then I ended up watching most of the match. But Barnsley looked okay. Chelsea couldn't quite get into their groove as much as normal. But then as it carried on, they started to pull away, and you could see they were a couple of steps ahead on everything. And, Tammy Abraham scored about 65 minutes in, I think it was. Right. And it just didn't look like Barnsley would get back into it. They were getting quite a few corners and stuff, but it just wasn't happening for them. And Chelsea just saw it out. And the only thing that I wasn't too sure about was it looked like the goal, Tammy Abraham's goal, was offside. And they didn't have VAR because it was at Barnsley's ground. But then they showed it from a few different angles. And it was just, I think the cut of the pitch made it look more offside. But when they looked at it again, it actually seemed okay. So so a 1-0 victory for the Premier League team there, and a valiant effort from Barnsley. Of course, before the game, they were showing all the highlights of when the year they beat us. So that was a joy for me to catch up with that. A lovely memory there for me.
Nice little highlight.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah.
And they beat Chelsea the same season as well, though. I think that was the main point they were trying to make, that they had such a good run. Right. I think that was back in 2009, was it? But anyway, Chelsea through to the next round, and probably deserved, although Barnsley, valiant effort from them. So,
yeah. How about you, Stu? No surprises, I presume, from you, really.
Good to see Billy Gilmour playing. He's definitely one for the future. He absolutely tore us apart last season. He actually put the pass. It was his ball which led to the goal as well. I think he's 19, 20. Scotland have got a heck of a player there. And then, Scott McTominay's been playing well, hasn't he? But yeah, from what I saw, I'm not sold on Tuchel, however you want to say it. That wasn't great last night in my mind, but they got through. At the end of the day, a win's a win, isn't it? I'm sure the way Barnsley set up, it was they were set up defensively. Ismail, the manager, came from Wolfsburg, so I think they've got a good manager there.
Did Barnsley get a shot on target? That's what I want to know, because I know that Chelsea hadn't, since he's been in, nobody's had a shot on target, including Spurs and the two before it. So I just wondered if Barnsley had broke that record. But I'll look into that.
I think they had a few attempts. I haven't got the actual stats, but they definitely they had a few attempts, and there was one really good chance that I thought had gone in near the must have been about 20 minutes in, and the keeper got down to and saved it. So they must have had a shot on target.
Yeah, there you go. Well, there's something they can come out with. So the other games, we had Swansea 1, Manchester City 3. Got to see that game. Pretty decent. Man City, I mean, they're just flying at the moment. You kind of expected that to happen. I'm surprised they might have gone and really trampled them, but 3-1 I think is a fair result, reflection of what happened. What did you think of that, Mike?
Yeah, it was to be expected. I thought I didn't get to watch the beginning of it, and then I flicked over and City were just rampant, so I was just like, end of that for me. And
see you later.
Game over. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a bit.
Same from you, Stu.
He did a bit of rotating, didn't he? Carl Walker was playing. They can rotate though, can't they? They've got that much depth. It was Swansea doing well in the Championship, though. To be fair, they absolutely lay waste to Forest in the previous round. So I think Swansea could be coming up again, lads, this year. But it's as you say, John. City at the moment, we've got them coming up after Fulham. So
we got next,
and then
tomorrow,
and then in the cup. I'd rather play him in the cup now than in the final. I'm telling you that, because they got pedigree in finals. So
yeah, well, thank you very much. He's really rubbing it in here.
No,
we got the cup final against them, of course. We got Leicester 1, Brighton 0. This is a game I only saw the highlights for, but what did you make of this one, Mike? Obviously, good result for Leicester. I mean, I'm guessing really I was listening to a Leicester fan on a radio station the other night, and he said, look, we've won the league. That was a magical moment, but they'd like to have an FA Cup to go along like a couple of years later. Is that something that's credible and that could likely happen? Because I mean, they must be going for it. I know that they're doing well in the league, but to add a cup to Leicester City would be the next best, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would say so. It would really solidify that Premier League win from a couple of years ago. And I know we've got a Leicester fan on with us on Added Time on Monday coming up this week, so it'll be great to hear their opinions, especially as we play Leicester tomorrow lunchtime. So 12:30 kickoff is Liverpool-Leicester, and that's a huge game for us because Leicester could easily be a stumbling block for us, especially the way we've been playing recently. So it'll be really interesting to see. But I think, unfortunately for Leicester, I think they'll run into a team who are pretty angry tomorrow, and it should be an interesting match for sure, because I know Leicester have got the skills and some good young players, some great attacking football. I just hope they don't do what a lot of teams who have played us recently do and just sit back and just have 11 men behind the ball. I'd like to see a bit of a game of it, and it could be a wild one. If people are banging in goals, it could be another cracker like we had midweek with you guys.
Yeah. No, definitely. What about for you? Yeah, sorry, mate. What about for you, Stu?
I think I've got to be fair, lads. I said it weeks ago. We can go back to it. Why Rodgers was playing Ayoze Perez up front when he had Iheanacho on the bench, and Iheanacho scored a couple of goals in the last few games. Also, with Iheanacho, he can play as a shadow striker. You know, if you have Vardy up top. I've said it time and time again. I could see it at City years ago with him when he was breaking through, when he came through the academy. Iheanacho is a very, very good striker. Just in and out the team. He'd get into a lot of squads up front. The lad's always been able to finish, but it's all very stop-start, isn't it? And then, Vardy is injury prone.
It's a new player.
It's a bit like Kane. It's a bit like a Kane scenario with Vardy, isn't it? Yeah, I was impressed. It was late on, wasn't it? But they got it done. And Yuri Tielemans with the assist as well.
He's the most impressive player for me for them.
So good,
hands down.
His coverage in the middle. It's not just putting assists in. He's got a bit of everything in him, and he's very, very good. Doesn't get enough plaudits, I don't think. Everyone looks to Maddison, Barnes, Vardy. James Justin's been getting a lot of plaudits at the back. He's slotted in very well. But just to cut it short here, absolutely with Tielemans, fantastic player.
He's in your fantasy squad, isn't he, Stu?
Tielemans?
Yeah, you got him in your fantasy team, haven't you?
No.
Roped him in.
Barnes and Maddison.
I knew there were a few blues in there.
Yeah.
See it come through each week and think, not enough red in that.
Next up, we got so this is a game without any Premier League teams involved, but Sheffield United, with Premier League teams involved here, and of course, Bristol City, who were probably, I think, going into this, they were like the least favourites, but they didn't do too bad, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of people before the game might have given them a little bit of a shout, given Sheffield United and where their priorities lie at the moment. Like, did Sheffield United, I don't know I can't remember what sort of team they put out Sheffield United, if they were just going to put all their eggs in one basket to try and survive, or were they going to go for this? But no surprises. But 1-0 obviously gets them through, gives them a little bit of hope. Probably good for the morale side of things there at the moment to have another focus away from the league. But your takeaway from that, Mr. Angus?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't get to watch that one, unfortunately, but it's the expected result. But then you can always think there could possibly be a giant killing of this. Message from
Where is that man?
Where is he?
Yeah.
But it's to be expected. Sheffield United getting the win, but there could have been a giant killing there, and it would have been interesting to see. But Sheffield United fans definitely need something to cheer about, because the performance in the league has been subpar this year, and they need to go away and have a think about what they're going to do. And it'd be nice if they had a little run in the cup, just to give them something to get their teeth into this season. So,
yeah, I agree. What about for you, Stu? Sheffield United obviously getting through, but is it?
I've got to be honest. They picked up some results in the league recently, and then they're just too far off the pace. But just to go back a bit, look at Wigan in 2013 when they lifted the trophy and they went down that year. So where's your priorities? Look, everyone likes a cup run, but I think that they need to start picking points up in the league. But the old warhorse Billy Sharp again with the goal. Fair play. He bleeds Sheffield United, doesn't he? So. Yeah, but Ethan Ampadu had a good game as well. They've got him on loan from Chelsea, haven't they?
Yep.
So I'm always looking out for him because he's a Welsh international. He's getting game time. But like Mike says, they need to take a long, hard look, because you've got players like John Lundstrom who haven't had their wages, their salary up since they've been in the Prem. They've got to do this right. Otherwise, if they go down, they're going to be stuck down in that Championship. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, that's a bit of a nightmare, the whole wage structure going on down there.
You need to keep a player like Lundstrom in your team. He drives them on in the middle.
And of course, we have to get to this game. I'm trying to put this off as much as I could, but I can't just throw a sickie right now, I'm afraid. Everton 5, Tottenham 4 after extra time. I would say, even though might sound biased, but obviously the tie of the round, no doubt about it, in terms of goals and entertainment, right from the get-go. I think the first 2-3 minutes or whatever it was when Spurs scored. Well, I might as well get it off my chest early, I suppose. I thought, realistic, to be honest with you, I actually enjoyed the game, the whole game, even when it was like 3-1 to 3-2 to 3-3, and then we were like chasing up until the 5-4. I felt, but I say that because I haven't seen Spurs play that way in ages. Not even when we beat West Brom the other day, we didn't play like that. We still were in defensive mode. I kind of feel now like it's worked both ways. Like it's almost like Jose can turn around to the players and say, "This is why we play the way we do, because our defense is terrible." So it's kind of like putting it on them a bit. At the same time, I've been looking at some news that's come out of this game, and I know that before the West Brom game, there was a lot of rumours, a lot of sort of stuff going around about Jose, and I know he's odds-on favourite now as the next Premier League manager out, and there's been some rumours about circulating, at least, that Spurs would replace him. I still don't think that will happen. I still think they'll keep him in till the end of the season, see what happens with his cup final, because that's what he's there for, realistically, anyway. Obviously, if that doesn't turn out, then there's going to be some questions asked, and that's very likely that will happen at the moment. But I think defensively we're a shambles, both teams. But I mean, attacking, it was great entertainment, and I do have to say I did enjoy it. Even at the end of the game, when I was watching it, when Everton scored, I just smiled, because it was one of those things. You're like, okay, Spurs have got another 15. They've got another like half of the extra time. We had plenty. It weren't like the last minute. We had plenty of time to fire in. We had a couple of chances, but overall, it was like anyone could have won that night. It was very back and forth, and at least it was entertaining. What about for you then, Stu? Let's go straight to you, straight after your emotions. I can't imagine. We should have had a camera on you, I reckon.
Oh, palpitations. Yes, I'm highly strung. I'm highly strung at the best of times. That I'm sure you were the same, John. I'm sure you said. But special mention. There's a few players that played fantastically well. Tom Davies, I've been on his case. I hold my hands up when I slag someone off, but I know he bleeds blue. Tom Davies deserves a lot of praise tonight. We've got Noah Allen in the middle. It's been put on Decore a lot in games. Decore misplaced a lot of passes, but he drives us forward. And you've got to take the rough with the smooth. At the back, it was just a case of, I say, both sides. Attack was the best form of defence, wasn't it? And I've got to say early on, John, that 15, 20-minute period early on, if Olsen doesn't make them 2 or 3 saves, you would have been out of sight. Bergwijn, early on, I know he took him off. Bergwijn was causing problems in that first half early on. They went with Sigurdsson, man of the match. I know he had an assist. I know he got the penalty, but he should have been marking Davinson Sanchez correctly. I don't agree. Leon Osman had him as man of the match on Match of the Day, him and Glenn Hoddle. Not for me, I'm afraid. Richarlison was a bit better, a couple of goals, that's what he needed, but he's still rolling about on the floor, John. Gets on my nerves, it does. He's always
Dele Alli had a similar.
And he's waiting for the ref. He's waiting for the ref 15, 20 minutes, and the game's carried on, and we're a man short. But on the whole, standout performances. We defended better in extra time. Michael Keane, I don't know what came over him. Michael Keane was blocking everything. It was just crazy game. Great for the neutral, lads.
Yeah, and I love the coffee bit at the end from Carlo. I thought that was just a touch.
I tell you what, no stress him on the touchline. I'd say they just chilled out. I think sometimes that's how you got to be.
I was thinking, like, the old Italian managers, if you used to ever watch Football Italia on a Sunday, they always used to be having cigars in their mouth and God knows what else. I mean, it was more than just coffee back then. It was crazy. But Mike, I've got to ask you, obviously you're the neutral here, and I suppose it was a game for the neutral out of all of them. So I'm interested to see what you made of it, and whether you actually thought, watching or going into the game, you thought it was going to be anything like that. Because I certainly didn't. I thought this was just going to be a Jose park the bus business and canter all the way through. What did you make of it?
Yeah, after seeing, Stu posted the team to me straight away before the match, and I thought Everton could struggle here against Tottenham. And then I heard that Kane wasn't playing for Tottenham, so I was intrigued as to how it would go. It was a very entertaining match. The first 20 minutes, I thought Tottenham dominated and looked very good. And I said to Stu, you might as well open your champagne now, mate, because you're not getting any, by the end of the night. So it's going to have gone off by the time you get to open it. And then suddenly they had that 5-minute period where Everton scored 3 cracking goals, and it was suddenly game on. And just before the break, you guys got back into it to make it 3-2. Which setting it up for a second half, it was great. People are excited for the second half, and it was the match of the round. Definitely, come the second half, and it goes to extra time. Obviously, a couple of great goals in there. Richarlison's goal was brilliant. I still feel like the keeper could have done more on a couple of the goals. To be honest, he got hands to two of them, and they still.
I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you guys about the goalkeeping for Hugo Lloris, because he got. I was listening to the radio after, and he got slated a bit about his positioning on some of the shots, especially.
They're always, the keepers always get it, but look at the defending. Come on now, come on.
Yeah,
I've got to be honest. I didn't touch upon it. Mike's triggered me on that one. Our bench. Can I just reiterate? Our bench was Fred, Bear. I was panicking, John. I was panicking because you did have your bench on paper look solid, but as you said to me off camera. You could see where it was going when Jose plays the attacking players when he brings them on.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, that's what he's used to doing in the Europa games. He leaves all the big guns because he's got 5 subs as well, and that's where it works for bigger clubs. I mean, this is the argument against having 5 subs, because the bigger clubs just they bench them all, and then the last 20 minutes they can just really shift a big change of momentum by bringing all these guns on. But obviously it didn't work for us. I think if we hadn't got that goal just before half time, I think it would have been a different story. I think it would have been a real uphill battle for Spurs, because I think Carlo, if he'd have got him in at half time 3-1 up, I think he would have adjusted it slightly so that we wouldn't have had as much space going forward. But overall, great game. I can't be too disappointed. It's better going out when you've given it something rather than just the typical Tottenham display of late. So I'm kind of happy at least we gave it a go and whatnot. So sees you guys through to the next round, obviously. Just to finish up on the other games the night before, the first night, which was we had Burnley 0, Bournemouth 2. So it's a good result for Bournemouth. Obviously, they're still in it. It's nice to see a team from the Championship doing well. But your thoughts on that, Mike? Did you see any of this game? I can't say I've seen the highlights for this either, so I didn't add too much.
Get to see this, but I know the second goal was a pen. I think I saw just the goals of that, and I think it's a good result for the Cherries, obviously. And I would have expected Burnley at home to have done better in that, but I didn't get to see the game, didn't get to see even the team sheet, so I don't know if Burnley played a weakened team. If Burnley got up the weekend, Palace, so maybe they were saving a little something for that, maybe, because that's a tough bottom of the table clash for them guys, isn't it? So they need to get away from that danger zone. So possibly they've left a little back in the locker room there for that. But I think it'll be interesting to see how Bournemouth get on. And they've had a great draw, which is against Southampton in the next round, right down their neck of the woods, and at their home ground as well. So it's a chance for them to progress, because Southampton, could be focused on the league. And Southampton, as we mentioned the other day on the show, have been a bit hit and miss. There's games where they look amazing, literally top 4 standard, and games where they just don't show up and get pulled apart. So we'll have to see how that one goes. And obviously Bournemouth are going to be well up for it. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Yeah,
absolutely. What about for you, Stu? Did you catch any of that game?
I hadn't seen it, to be honest.
None of us.
I've seen the result. I think Sean Dyche, they're pretty much clear out that relegation now, but I think maybe that focus just to keep, maybe get at the prep, get at the table. Did they really need to be worrying about the FA Cup? I don't think so. I think he wants to get them at the table. And Burnley's got a good, he's got a good squad there. They have to play for one another, haven't they? They haven't got like standout players. So I think, as Mike said, we've got a derby in the next round now. Anyway, Bournemouth, Southampton. Harry Redknapp will be happy. He's managed both.
They'll have him on, won't they? He's got a TV pundit deal there. And last but not least, probably the worst tie I sat through. I can't believe I sat through this whole bloody thing as well, because I just wanted to see. It's like one of those things, I'd committed to it early, and so I stayed on, and it was a pretty dire game, to be honest with you. I'm surprised like the BBC just didn't decide to like start having their commentators do something on the side, just to spice it up a bit. But Man United eventually going through 1-0. I know I would have liked to see what Sonny thinks of that, but obviously it's a result that matters. But after extra time, West Ham out, probably a little bit disappointing. I've heard a lot of West Ham fans moaning a bit about it and some of the tactics in the game and whatnot, but it is what it is. It's Man United through. I mean, I kind of would have expected it myself, given United at the minute, even though West Ham been doing well. But it's one of those things. I think a club like West Ham, they want this cup as well. A lot of clubs at the minute, they're really trying to get a trophy, something other than just the league, because the league's good. And don't get me wrong, finishing top 4 is fantastic, but sometimes you want something. You want that. You want that finals feeling. I know we can't obviously go there at the moment, stuff like that, but there is a difference to it, and I think a lot more so in the last couple of years. But your thoughts on that one, Mike? Did you sit through that painful experience like I did?
Yeah, I put myself through that, and it was it was tedious to say the least. It wasn't what I was expecting from West Ham at all. I thought Moyes would have had them rallied up, would have been a great chance for them to get some silverware, and really push on in that attack United at home, but it just didn't happen at all. And it was a really, it was not my favourite game of football to have watched this year. Went to extra time, obviously, and McTominay scored in the end, but it just felt like West Ham were just limping out of that tournament, and it was, it was a shame for their fans. If I was a West Ham fan, I would have been furious myself to see that performance. It wasn't what I was expecting at all. And Man United, Sonny will be happy they've gone through, but I mean, it was not their best performance either. That obviously they were lucky to get through with that free kick against us, but that should have gone to extra time against us at Old Trafford, I still think. But we'll forget about that for now. But yeah, West Ham, I thought they just bowed out much too easily there, and didn't Moyes say at the end of the match he was there for the points or something?
Yeah, that's what wound up a lot of the fans, I think. So, how about for you, Stu?
Scott McTominay again. I've got to be fair to the lad. He's been getting goals in that midfield, and I'm sure Sonny, a lot of the United fans are happy with him. But going back to Moyes, he still hasn't got a recognised striker. Haller went to Ajax. I know he wasn't hitting the heights. He has to rely on Antonio. I think Antonio's got an injury now. Is he going to start Yarmolenko at front? It's not his natural position. I think they should have got another striker in, but they're doing well in the league. Let's not take away from the fact. And the West Ham fans should be happy because he's come under fire over the years. Man United fans weren't fans of him. He was undrawn and quartered in my mind, but I'm going to say that because he was at Everton for many, many years. I think he's done a stellar job with that team. They haven't spent a great deal. They haven't spent a great deal either, West Ham. That's what they need to. Yeah. That needs to resonate with the fans, I think. But yeah, as you say, not the greatest game, but United are through. Ollie's gotten through again, so I think they'll be quite happy, the United fans, off the back of that.
Ollie at the wheel.
Yeah,
he's still going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That sums up the games. Guys, we're just going to take a short break. This next clip is somewhere that will definitely interest the two guests that I've got on, the hosts here, because they're going to be involved with this. Check this out right now. There we go. Superstar Wrestling. I know you two guys are going to be, announcing. Can't wait to see that. Knowing you guys' chemistry and all the stuff you do here, the banter that you have, could be like the old JR, Jerry Lawler, or I'm thinking, maybe Gorilla and Jesse, probably.
Yeah, I think so. Don't you, Michael?
Yeah, I can see. It depends how I go. I might go Bobby the Brain Heenan on you, and you'll be like, "Will you stop?" But yeah, can't wait for Superstar Pro Wrestling up in Liverpool. It is going to be great, and it's going to be brilliant to see some local talent and some of the great British wrestlers, taking part in that. And it's going to be. I love the advert there. That's great, proper old school style, and that's what myself and Stu are going to bring to the commentary, and it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it thoroughly, and just the sooner we can get to run things safely, the better. I'm just looking forward to getting back out there, and it'll be great for Stu to get involved and to commentate on some of the great wrestlers we've got in this area. So and obviously keep your eyes peeled for it on Powered 4. It's going to be exciting times.
Yeah, that's coming to powered4.tv in the near future. We are really excited to have that as part of the service as well. I know you two are going to do a great job, so I'm looking forward to it. Just quickly then, we're going to just show you the quarterfinal draw that took place last night. Now you can't see any of us, basically. Everton against Manchester City. So it would have been, had Spurs got through, that would have been a really painful experience for me, because I think 3 games of hell probably in my eyes, but Everton have got that challenge now. I suppose, I don't know, a home tie, is that slightly welcoming? I'm not sure, because I know Everton had a little bit of a bad spell at home as well. But then we got Bournemouth up against Southampton, which is anyone's game. I think that's quite an open one there. Leicester City play Manchester United. Very that's probably going to be one of the games of the round, no doubt about that. And Chelsea up against Sheffield United at home, which is a pretty good draw for them, I would say, out of everyone, to be fair. But interesting. One point I just want to make, guys, and I want to get your take on it, is the whole VAR thing. There were some games that had it, then there were some games that didn't. I just find that so ridiculous that we're still having games. I kind of feel like it's a bit of a disadvantage as well, that some games are having that, and other games, you might be able to get some goals if that offside is not, isn't going to come into play, and they're going to look at it 500 times. What do you make of that, and why are we still like that at the moment? I'm one of these people in rounds. I get that you can't have it at every stadium, because some of the lower league clubs is going to be nigh on impossible. But it's kind of like, why not have the whole round either one way or the other, at least, until we grow that and get that better. But what's your guys' thoughts on that?
They've got to have it. It's got to be every single game. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah.
The smaller clubs that were in it, don't want to term them smaller. Everyone's fighting for it. It's the best cup competition in the world still. Some people say it's lacked its luster in more recent years, but why can't they just set it up in one of in the vans in the car park where they're transmitting the broadcast? Absolutely stupid. Either have it, or if you can't have it every game, just don't have it at all. It's got to be a level playing field every game. It's ridiculous. They've got, just set it up in one of the TV trucks. It's not hard, is it? They can transmit it. It's it could be distance. It's not an issue. It baffles me. It baffles me, John and Mike.
The thing I've got with it is they just need to get it right in the first place. It's not even right when it's working properly at the moment for me. So it just needs to be in the off season. It needs to be clarified exactly what it's doing. They need to look at what's happened this season, where it's benefited games, where it's destroyed the Everton-Liverpool derby.
Not again, please.
Man, where it's destroyed games, where it's been stupid decisions, where one guy's handled it in one game and it's been given, and then you see a game a week after, exactly the same thing happens and it's not given. Some of the fouls are a bit soft at the moment, where somebody runs into somebody and falls over. That decision, has got to be on the referee, and they just need to be getting it right. If VAR should be there to help them and to get decisions right. It shouldn't be a Russian roulette of decisions going one way or the other. And as Stu says, if you're going to have it at one ground, have it in all the matches if you can. Or, as you said, John, don't have it at all for that round, and then bring it in for the quarters, semis, and final, where you've got to have it, because then it's somebody, it's a big part of the tournament. If you're going out of the tournament because of a VAR goal, you're going to be raging, aren't you? And it's going to make the whole thing a mockery. So they just need to clarify it and get it right, to be honest. And it's And no matter who you support, you can look at it this season and say, well, they've got that badly wrong there. When it's a shoelace or a bit of an elbow or a finger point offside, no one's happy about that. That's not what we want to see. I personally like a bit more contact in football. Obviously being a wrestling fan, but I would rather see it back to the olden days a little bit, where you're seeing people going in for tackles and it's not a yellow card, because some of the stuff I'm seeing is too soft. These guys are trained athletes. They play football every single day. They're training every single day. They can take a tackle. That's part of the game. But if you're eliminating that from the game, you're taking aspects away from it, aren't you? So at the end of the day, they just need to get it right. And if they're going to have some matches that have got it, then they've all got to have it. So simple as.
Absolutely. Just to add another little theme here, just to finish off on the FA Cup. I was chatting to an American wrestling fan the other day, and he was telling me all about the Super Bowl. And he said, you got to watch this. Look at what they do half time. So that 15 minutes worth of like a mini concert craziness, like WrestleMania going on. It's like watching something completely different, and the whole spectacle. And they said to me, they were like, have you got anything similar? Like you could, make this transparent to me? And I was like, to be honest with you, like I would have said the FA Cup years ago, but like I don't even know anymore that that's the case because of money. It's kind of like the Premier League has become so dominant now financially that the FA Cup, to some big clubs anyway, that it is kind of a second thing. Champions League and Premier League definitely takes priority in a lot of people's places. What do you think? Because see, the thing is, I'm a bit of an old school fan. I remember as a kid growing up, the FA Cup, no matter who was playing, the FA Cup final day, it would start, I don't know, like something ridiculous, 8 a.m. You'd have TV coverage all the way through. Even other TV shows would like have some theme on the FA Cup just to keep it going, and then you'd have the finals, and it was a whole day thing. Now, in the last couple of years, it's like we just chuck it on like a Premier League game, an hour, maybe 2 hours build up. The whole thing used to be about watching the coach leave the hotel, and they used to give this running commentary like the royal wedding or something, and I think that spectacle has sort of gone for me. I don't know that exists like it used to. It's certainly not one of those things. Like I know in America with Super Bowl, it's like a weekend of just celebrations. Let's make food. I feel like now with the FA Cup, unless your team's involved, it's not as much widely watched. I know that non-football fans, for instance, would used to watch the FA Cup because of the spectacle, if you like. But for you guys, it's not worth talking about. Is it the same? Because we know it's not. But I mean, what could they do? Or is there any way back to ever make it special? Or do you think it's now at the point where like League Cup and FA Cup are just standard cup competitions, like kind of most of Europe is? Because a lot of Europe is just they have a cup and you either go for it or you don't, basically.
I think the problem you've got is, I'll tell you one issue. We didn't have the internet back then. You watched terrestrial television. That's number one. Viewing figures are never going to be the same. Look at what you've got in terms of streaming and stuff like it's changed. Broadcasting's changed. The other issue you've got is you've got BT Sports showing it and BBC. It should just be one. It should just be one channel. Okay, you might not like a certain pundit, so you'd watch it on the other channel. It should just be solely on the BBC. But I know it's money and stuff like that. But I just think it's changed. It was a permanent fixture every May, wasn't it, for us all? We all watched it. But it's a case of times have changed. Unfortunately, I'll watch it every year, lads. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I love it, but yeah, it's kind of like you're saying with Germany, with the DFB Pokal. They don't look at it. We're going very much the same way with it. But I watch it. I'll watch it every year.
You know what?
What about for you, Mike?
Yeah, I was going to say the issue that I've got with it is I believe the gulf between the Premier League and the other sort of the Championship and Division 1 has just become even greater. It's like the chances of a giant killing are a lot less. You know, we watched Marine play Tottenham this year, and I would say a lot of people tuned in to see that just because of the excitement of it. You know, it's Marine. You know, who the hell are Marine? You know, I mean, I know who they are, but other people aren't going to know. And it's, you know, the excitement of the FA Cup, but then you see the class of the Premier League compared to them, and you just think it's not the same as it was, where you had teams all over the country and they were at a level that could compete. But now you get to this stage of the tournament, we've got one team from the Championship in there, and they were in the Premier League last season or the season before, weren't they? So it's like, you know, you're expecting it to, by this time, to be the Premier League teams, to be the better clubs. And then, as you said as well, the whole thing about it being a whole day and it being something to build up to. I especially remember the 90s, I think it was the 96 FA Cup, and it was Liverpool Man United, and it started on bloody Live and Kicking or whatever, or Fully Booked.
Is that the
in
one
the morning
with the white suits? Is that one?
That's it, exactly. Yeah, so you remember it. You remember Liverpool showed up in white suits. We both
Spice Boys.
We both had a song in the charts. That's, you know, there was adverts on TV for all the stuff. You know, the Ball Boy shoes was getting advertised. You know,
my God.
Ball Boy shoes is what you need. Get the power on your feet with Ball Boy shoes.
Yeah, Gareth Southgate, England manager now. My God.
Pair of shin pads signed by Gareth Southgate. But I mean, you've got all the excitement building up to it all day. It's on TV all day on all the channels showing the highlights. And it gets to the game, you see them at the hotel, you see them going on the coach, you see all the fans arriving. Fans is a massive part of football. You know, you've seen it the last season or so. The excitement is lacking a little bit, and that is what drives some of the best players in the world on. And you can clearly see that because teams like ourselves have not done as well without the fans. They are the 12th man to us, and you know, at Wembley as well. You'll see it, the cup final. It might not be as exciting as other seasons. We'll have to see, but all I know for sure is that there is a way you can inject it back into it, and it is just a little bit of passion and a little bit of effort on the part of the TV channels. Things like just watching recently on BT Sport, they do a few little different things. You know, I'm not advertising any particular channel, but they do a few little things different on the adverts and stuff. So, I mean, you know, it's just they make it more interesting, and it's easy enough to do that. If you do that coverage and show it, of them coming from the thing, people will watch it and be like, oh, this is great, you know, this is like back in the olden days, you know. But it's the fact that that's just a lost art, like we talk about in wrestling storytelling. You know, it just doesn't happen as much. These long-term stories that we all want to see are not happening. The same thing football, we all want to see the camaraderie. You know, you want to see, oh, who's playing at half-time? Oh, Oasis or Blair are going to be playing at half-time. You know, you've got Pulp outside the ground causing havoc, you know. But yeah, it's easy enough to inject them things into it, make it a spectacle, make it a party. And, you know, you can do it socially distanced. There's other events on television that we've seen where they've got, you know, even like the One Show every night has a truck pull up outside someone's house with Robbie Williams or Ronan Keating singing a song to somebody. Just do something like that, you know, just think outside the box and make it interesting for the fans. That way you're going to get the neutral fans tuning in, because it's like, it's a spectacle. Make it a spectacle.
They'll probably make it all day in May for the final because everybody's at home. But what I will say, when BT Sport took it on in 2014, you know, it was incepted in 2013, they were doing all day coverage. I remember they were in with the chef at Wembley. Robbie Savage was with the chef. Well, what are you cooking, mate? All daft stuff. But it was like throwback. But I think the way it'll be scheduled and broadcast this year, because we're all at home, not to say they won't have fans at Wembley. Let's see where we are with the vaccine. Even if they did 15, 20,000 at Wembley and they don't have to pump in that unnatural crowd noise, because it's just annoying. Look at the Super Bowl. Going back to the Super Bowl, you had 25,000 in the other night. They put the cardboard cutouts in, didn't they? Everyone was amongst it. It looked full. Natural sound, lads. That's all I want back. Get the natural sound back in, because it's abysmal. It's absolutely abysmal. But yeah, as I say, they'll get this year. I think it'll be on from 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, lads. Personally,
hey, I was going to say, Stu, I feel at the moment that every time Old Lang Syne comes on at Liverpool from the crowd, from the fake crowd noise, we seem to concede a goal. I just notice it every time. Every time.
Send them a letter in, Mike.
That's it. Every time Old Lang Syne gets pumped in, it's since New Year. Every time that you hear that come on again, it's like, oh God, here we go. It's like it mind warps Allison or something, you know, and then suddenly he's thrown one out to the opposition.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of your points there, and there is always that, like every time the FA Cup starts, the qualifying bit and then go proper, it's always that. You always get that little video clip and the narrative is always the same. The underdogs, you might get an upset, and they always sell you on that. And I kind of feel like they need to find something else, because it's a bit of like every year you're hearing the same thing. And I don't know if people just sit there and wait for somebody for that moment to happen. And it does happen, but it doesn't always happen. And it's happening more or less than ever now, really, because even Premier League teams can go to most places with a second string team and win, if I'm honest, like when they're playing lower league clubs. So, and also to the point as well is that I felt once the FA Cup, you know, like you had the two semis at Wembley, that kind of took away from the experience a little bit. I know, again, it's all about money. And then that year that Tottenham were playing there while our stadium was being built, mate, I couldn't wait to get out of there. It was a nightmare getting back home. Every time out of Wembley, I mean, it took you about an hour and a half. I just couldn't wait to get back, and I never wanted to go back to Wembley anytime soon, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Moving on, obviously, to the Premier League. Let's have a quick look at the current standings. Sorry, Stu.
No, you're all right, mate. You're okay, Paul.
Manchester City, obviously, flying away at the minute. 5 points with a game in hand still, clear of Manchester United. Most people are saying it is over, but for me, I'm gonna hold off on that. Like I said last time on our last show, I just think with the Champions League coming back in, I got a feeling it might take away from them a little bit. Obviously, Man United and Leicester looking very good. Liverpool, your team there, Mr. Angus. You know, top four must be the main priority now, I would imagine. If not, maybe better. And then we got this other sort of part where it's anybody's guess, because you know, I'd say everyone between this 4th and 9th position has been up and down. The inconsistency really shows, I think, in the table. I mean, look how many losses some of these teams have taken this season. It's incredible when you think about it that we're at. But what about for you, Stu? Where's the aim for Everton? Where do most Everton fans really want to get to?
Of course I want to be top 4. Of course I do, but I'm not misty-eyed, okay? Let's just look at it long term. We ended up 12th last year. He got us out of the relegation zone. We were trucking along quite nicely. Then we came back, didn't we, to play the games when it was rescheduled, everything in the summer. And I've got to be fair to him. You know, we dropped down at the back end of last season. It all hinges with these 2 games in hand that we've got. We've got to beat Fulham on Sunday night, and then can we at least get a point against City? I know they're absolutely motoring. It's 15 consecutive wins now. We've got to believe that we can do something in that game. We can't play how we played against you guys the other night. It'll be 7-1 or something. We've got to counter them. It's hard. I would take top 6 in answer to your question. I'd be happy if we got 6th. I'd be happy. Anything better is a bonus. I think he's doing a great job. He's going to sign. We will sign players in the summer. That's abundantly clear where he needs to strengthen. But he's done very well. His son David Ancelotti is a very good coach. You know, he's only young. He's about 31. Then you've got Big Dunk, you know, as assistant, as coach.
Yeah. Well, he done well in his games, didn't he?
I don't want to make it about last season, but when we went, me, my dad, and my 2 cousins went against Leicester in the cup, and we were dead and buried at half time. Dunk was managing. It was 2-0 half time, and they really fought back. And we lost on penalties, unfortunately. But going into the future, Dunk will be manager of the club.
Yeah, he's a strong character.
Because it's all well and good being affiliated to the club as a player. I know sometimes it doesn't work. He bleeds blue. At the end of the day, you know,
I used to be. Sorry to cut you off, though. I used to be the same way about Chris Hughton. Chris Hughton was at our club for ages, and he was always assistant or head coach to all the managers that came in for Yonks. And then obviously he got his own gig moving away. And I still think he's a decent manager, but he just knew about Tottenham, the foundation of it. And he wasn't just he wasn't an ego guy. He wasn't a showbiz or one of these guys that's on TV. He was just a coach, and you need that sometimes at your club. And I reckon that Duncan will definitely end up being the manager. You can tell.
There's no substitute for
just learning.
There's no substitute for passion. I know we've seen ex-players go in. Look at Lampard. I think I still maintain it. He should be manager. I'm sorry, just how I feel. I might be wrong. As I say, we're not too far away with that team. He just needs 3 or 4 players. The Everton fans are very happy. They played a blinder getting him as manager. I'm sorry and all that. All the top clubs would like Carlo Ancelotti. I don't care what anyone says. Definitely.
Can I add something, Stu?
Yeah.
How bad is Calvert-Lewin's injury? He looked like he took a knock in the game the other night.
I'm daft for this, Mike, because I gauge it on what I see on fantasy football. He's at 75. He's at 75% fitness, allegedly. I've seen players at 50%. You take them out your team, put them on the subs bench, and they're fit. James, 75%. So, Mike, we need him, don't we? So I think
Harry Kane was back before you know it.
Yeah. I took him out, John. He came back. I was like, but I think he took Calvert-Lewin off as precaution. I think he will be okay. I don't think it's a long-term thing. I was panicking when he went off, but it was okay. But I'm waffling now. Sorry.
No,
good, mate.
And what about the other side? The other side of Merseyside up there, I mean, what now for Liverpool fans? I know a Liverpool fan, and he's still confident that next season they're just going to go again. The one thing he said to me that made a lot of sense, and I totally agree. I mean, if you think about it, the last 3 years, if you include the Champions League final that you lost, it's still a big thing to get there. And like when Tottenham did it, if they'd have gone back there the year after, I'd have been over the moon. And it takes something to lose the finals and come back and win the thing. So if you think about it, the last 3 years, you've been at such a crazy level. It's got to be expected at some point. Even Barcelona, you get to a certain point and, the consistency stops. But even though you're not in too bad a nick considering all the injuries. So do you think that it's just, you just got to put it down to what's happened with some of the injuries, the fact that you might have run out of a bit of steam, and it's not as, because I'm hearing some other people and they're saying this is a disaster and they've got to rebuild and everything else, and I'm thinking maybe that it surely can't be that bad. Like Klopp surely is going to just start again, and maybe he needs that little bit of break to do it. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think the last 4 seasons have been brilliant for us, and I think a lot of people have heard say about burnout. And the players are just tired, and they've just lost that momentum a little bit. The injuries obviously haven't helped. I honestly thought we would retain the title this season, and watching how we played for the first sort of up until beginning of December, it looked like we had a good chance. But then we just had these few soft results where we drew with people, we lost a couple of games, and then we've had like a really bad spell where the team just don't look themselves. We're missing a lot of players. You can make any excuses under the sun. People are saying that Trent Alexander-Arnold's been a bit soft this year because of they say he's had COVID over the summer and hasn't been able to play at his normal level. There's all sorts of excuses you can make. But at the end of the day, I'd still like to see Jurgen Klopp. He is the man at Anfield. I'd like to see him telling these players. I'd like to see him on the touchline showing that emotion and saying, come on, really driving them on. I want to hear him bellowing at the players or somebody doing that, and really trying to drive them on, because there's too many times at the moment where I feel like I'm watching us and we're just going in second or third gear for the whole game, and that's where we're losing these results. And I do think I think City have pulled too far. I can't see them losing that many matches that it would need for someone to catch them up now. And I do think if we had a turnaround in form and we're back to how we were playing there, when we were exciting at the beginning of the season, I do think we could make up some of the points on them. But then if we keep playing how we have been playing, we could end up, Everton could leapfrog us. They've still got them 2 games in hand. I think the main thing for Liverpool is doing our best in the Champions League, because we're still in with a chance there. It'd be great if we could, do something in that tournament again. And a lot of it is just making our way back up near the top of the league where we deserve to be after how we've played exciting wise at the beginning of the season, and just I think this spell we've had, sort of January, February, is we can move on from that, and we need to be picking up results. And it all starts against Leicester tomorrow. We'll see how it goes there. That's a huge game for us. It could be a turning point in the season. But there's games that I look back on. I'm thinking, how did we not beat Burnley, Brighton, at home? How did we lose to Southampton? You watch them matches back and you think, oh, that's not gone our way there. And then you look back further in the season, the game at Brighton where we were 1-0 up till the last minute, and that soft penalty that Robbo, where they both kicked for the ball, and that you've got that Everton goal. You had them couple of points on. We're top of the league still. You know what I mean? But it's not to be at the moment, and City are going to have to do some dramatic. There's going to have to be some big wins from teams we're not expecting to win against City if we're going to, if we're going to get anywhere near that. And I'm looking at you,
no
Stu.
pressure.
I'm looking at you, Stu.
I think with that game in hand, if they win that, that is the one. Then I think they'll go on. We've got to try and get something for everyone else here. Everyone else will be watching that one, but I struggle because it'll be we'll have 25%, 30% of the ball in that game at Goodison. I'm telling you now. You know what they're like, but it's about soaking it up. So it's concentration at the back, and we've got to stop zonal marking. But he keeps playing zonal. Look what happened the other night. Sorry,
lads. The thing I was going to say about City is as well. I've watched them quite a lot this season, and I don't feel like they've been as exciting as other seasons as well. Yet they've kept grinding them results out. The last couple of matches, they've won. Whether it's 1-0, 2-1, whatever, they've still been getting them results. Even in matches where it's looked like their opponents could have them on the ropes, they've still got that win, and that's what you need to do. Whereas Liverpool have done the opposite in the last few games. They've had good games where they've looked exciting, and then still come away with a 1-0 loss at home, and it's like, oh God, how's that even happened? And you can look at it one way or the other, and I look at it in a positive way. We can only, we could get worse, but we can only get better from me. Literally, there's a good bit of the season left. Let's kick on and see what we can do with the team we've got, and then come the summer, get a few of our main men back in. There's people missing who could be in the team. Obviously Virgil van Dijk's huge for us. Keita, Jordan Henderson back into midfield, and we build from there. And people like I'd like to see Mane netting a few more goals. He's absolute great striker, and just feel like his luck's been off a little bit. And Firmino just sometimes he's not in games as much as I'd like to see him. And then when it is coming to him, the last couple of matches, he seems to be losing the ball, which is just so unlike him. It'd be great if they just start powering through again. You're going to see us start demolishing teams again, and that's just that. We had a 7-0 against Crystal Palace, and then next game we're back to looking soft again. So we just need to get things back on the move, and we go again.
Absolutely. Just briefly, we're just going to take a look at the other side of the table. Obviously, the bottom part of it to start with, obviously Sheffield United, West Brom and Fulham, it's going to be tough.
They're not getting out of it. They're not getting out of that.
Yeah, you've got...
Look at the gap.
Yeah.
Fulham are the only ones that see potentially escaping it, but they really need a turn of form. They've looked a bit better in some of the matches, but it just hasn't been enough. And Burnley, I can't see Burnley, Newcastle, Brighton are... it's going to be tough to catch any of them teams there, to be honest. Unless someone has a shocker or a few injuries, it looks like the writing's on the wall for them.
Fulham have drawn. Fulham, it's abundantly clear looking at that. 9 draws, 2 wins. That's what's killed Fulham.
Yeah.
Look at it. Burnley, 5 draws. Newcastle, 4 draws. That is what you can. It's there. It's there in black and white. Like that's what's gone wrong there.
Yeah.
They've been close in games. We only won 3-2 at Craven Cottage. They've been very close in games, as of Sheffield United, but it's fine. It's fine margins in the Premier League. You can get away with it in the leagues across Europe, but you can't. It's just there's no league like this league. It's
absolutely.
It's evident. It's evident. Anyone can beat anyone on that day, and no other league in Europe has got that. They say
no, you're right.
They say the Prem's not very good like it used to be. It's still good. It's still.
Oh yeah. That's why it's the most franchised league in the world, isn't it? Around some stats here, just some briefly, we've got the top goal scorer at the minute. Still Salah is leading it. Obviously, Mike off camera alluded to the penalties, but you still got to score them. So some players this season have had a tough time. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes is having a terrific season from that attacking midfield role, sort of a Lampard type scoring figure there at the minute. But Calvert-Lewin, Stu, I mean, you've got to be really happy with him. And I mean, I don't know what his aim would be, but I'm guessing around that 20 mark would be decent.
Let's try and get him to 20. He could do more. I think if Richarlison was a bit more with it, hopefully he is after the cup game. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied there. Calvert-Lewin can do it, and I'm sorry, I've heard people say he's not up to it. He'd be pushing Harry Kane for England as well. Southgate is very, very hot on him. In the 6-yard box, in the 18-yard box, when he's not having to go out wide for the ball and drop into midfield, when he's in that area, he's as lethal as anyone. I'm telling you. But
he might get it because Harry Kane has been playing a completely different role this season. He's been more provider than goal scorer this season.
The other night, John. He was out wide. I know he does do a lot in the middle, and he does do a lot in the middle for you anyway. But going back to that, the table of the top scorers. Look at Son and Kane. How many they've got between them, and then put the assists on top of it, John. It makes good reading that side for Spurs.
Yeah, I think I've got the assists here as well. So you see Mr. Harry Kane with the most.
Incredible.
And you've got, of course, Jack Grealish is having a fantastic season as well. I've got to say, really impressed with him. Like, I know I used to watch him in the Championship, and I used to think, what is all the fuss about? Like, could he do it against Premier League teams? You know what? He's taking the mick. He turns up. I watched him against Arsenal. He looked like he was playing schoolboy football against them, just having a good time. That's how he plays. He looks like he's just happy to play all the time. And it's good when you got footballers like that. It's sort of a throwback, if you like. He's got that swag about him. But I like players, especially in England, that don't mind trying to take other players on. I don't think we have enough of them sometimes. And he's going to make the occasional mistake, but I'd rather that than just passing it backwards all the time or sideways and all the rest of it. It's good to have him there.
Him and Foden start for me for England. And do you know who else starts? Who doesn't get enough plaudits? Who I'm very high on. I know Southgate's had him in games. Declan Rice. Rice further back. Declan Rice. If you watch him, I like watching the nitty gritty players. They don't get enough plaudits. Declan Rice starts for me. Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho not having the best of seasons at Dortmund. I know Dortmund are struggling, but I would have to say you've got to go with Grealish. You've got to go with Grealish and Declan Rice as starters for me for England.
Yep. And just to have a quick look at the upcoming fixtures, starting with tomorrow, kicks off with Leicester versus Liverpool at 12:30. Which should be a good game. Then we got the 3:00 kickoff, the only one of the day, of course, at the moment in today's current affairs. Palace and Burnley, followed by what is probably going to be a miserable afternoon for me. Man City against Spurs and Brighton up against Aston Villa. So some lots of games there to look forward to. And on Sunday, Southampton kick things off against Wolves. We got West Brom at home against Manchester United. Arsenal Leeds is probably I think we said this last time, the game of the weekend, I think realistically, how they could go. So probably a big game for Arsenal. I mean, if they were to slip this one up, even a draw, I think you'd have to say that the league, in terms of them trying to get even into the Europa, might be over after that. And then you've got Everton up against Fulham, who we struggled against, I tell you that much. Which I never believed. And on Monday night, we've got West Ham up against Sheffield United and Chelsea take on Newcastle. And of course, next week, as I said off camera, it's back to the Europa League for Tottenham. So I can't wait for that on a Thursday night against the team I've never heard of. So we're back in that realm again.
Who do you got, John, in that?
I actually don't even know because they got replaced. They replaced Wolfsburg because they went out because of a COVID situation, and UEFA have just basically put them out. That's who we were drawn against. So this team, I did see earlier, but I have never heard of them in my life. So
how have they done that? How have they done that exactly? Are you saying that you guys have progressed to a certain round and other teams have been knocked out, and yet they've brought a random
No,
team in?
we were always in it. They've been replaced. We got drawn against them, and then I think there was some sort of COVID. I think what it is you can either submit your team to play in it, or you can't. And I there was something against the regulations or something. I think Germany do it very differently to how we do it. You remember Aston Villa just got told to go out and play no matter what in that game, obviously with their reserves. And there was some sort of issue, I'm sure, regarding that. But yeah, back on a Thursday night, I tell you what, the Europa. Sometimes I feel like we should just sell it off. I think let somebody else have a go.
They're Austrian, that team, John, because they played.
There we go. I'll do my research now. We'll probably get beat. You'll know about them then.
Rapid Vienna, they played Salzburg, they played Lask. Lask have been in the Champions League, haven't they? So, Austrian. I've just had a nosy. That's what
I is it, Stu? Sorry.
It is. I'll try and do justice with the pronunciation, and I've lost it. Lads.
Pressure's got to here, John.
RZ Pellets, as I'm saying it, so that's how you spell it. Pellets whack. RZ Pellets whack.
There we go. I'm buying a top.
So is that a win coming up for you, John? Is that going to be a victory? God damn them.
Well, who knows? Who knows at this point? I want to thank you both. Go on, mate. No, we got time. We got time.
I mentioned was that of course, mate. I heard some mention of. I think Liverpool play Leipzig on Tuesday. There was some mention. That may have been the game that's been moved to Hungary instead of Germany due to travel restrictions.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that the case? I did hear that somewhere.
As well.
Yeah, I think that was something I heard this week. I'm sure one of the fans watching could let us know in the comments. But I definitely heard something regarding that at some point. So whether that was that game or another one, I might just sometimes I take in random pieces of information via osmosis, and then
forget about it after. No, you're right. And where can we find you, Mike? Give out all your plugs where you're going to be. Obviously, you're going to be back with us on Monday night, 7 p.m. live for our added time, where we'll be having a look back at the weekend's fixtures. Probably myself in misery, but where else can we find you?
Yeah, hopefully I've got something nice to report then for you all. We will have a Leicester fan on with us as well. So either way, it's going to be entertaining. It'll be good to hear their opinions of the game that we've got. You can find me on Twitter at Angus Mad Dog. You can find me on Facebook, Mike Mad Dog Angus, and on Instagram. Loads of wrestling photos on there and stuff. I will have to upload some of my football things. I've got some great memorabilia and things to show you guys at some point. Obviously, I've got all the load of shirts hanging up in the background. I've got hundreds of footy shirts and loads of
maybe
stuff.
Maybe we should do a show, Mike. Just dedicate it to some of your memorabilia.
That'd
be worth doing one
more
Friday.
Than happy getting involved doing that, mate. And send you some photos over and stuff. And obviously, you can find my ring announcing on Powered 4 TV for TNT Extreme Wrestling. We're looking forward to doing Superstar Pro Wrestling in Liverpool. Me and Stu are going to be commentating that. That's great. You can catch me every week on Wrestling Travel at 4:00 on Thursdays. And if you're on the Wirral at all, keep your eyes peeled for me, because I'm going to be running around. We're raising money for Clatterbridge Cancer Charity at the moment with my workmates. So keep an eye out for me. You shouldn't miss me. I'll be dressed as Doink the Clown with my green wig on and my green t-shirt on, raising money for cancer. So keep your eyes peeled. Shout out to all my workmates at the Red Fox. The challenge was to run 321 miles in February. We reached that in about a week and a half. So we're going for the 1,000 miles now between us all. So there's a link on my Facebook, so feel free to check that out. If anyone would like to donate any money, it's all going to towards a new cancer charity hospital on the Wirral. So get involved, guys, and give me a beep if you see me running about the Wirral anywhere.
Give more than a beep. No, it's a good cause, mate. How about you, Stu?
I'll keep it brief. I've got just a little bit to say. So Stewie P1 on the Twitter. Stewie P1 on the Twitter. As I've said it, that's how you put it in. Stu's Wrestling Podcast across Instagram, Facebook. You can find us on there. We've got a page on there. This week we have got interviewer for NWA Power, Kyle Davis, who was also he did the interview for Ring of Honor in 2010. And he was trained by Brian Danielson. He was trained by Daniel Bryan. He wrestled for a bit, realised, it's not for me. I'll go into broadcasting. Great story. Great stories with Big Sid. He's got a great, Mike, you'll love it. There's a story with Big Sid about carbonated drinks. So we've kept we've kept that one in. Mike knows Sid. He's been with Sid like personally. So yeah, I look forward to it. Yeah, Kyle. And then the week after, just to close off for me with my stuff, Myron Reed, former MLW middleweight champion.
Nice, yeah.
He's just recently lost the belt to Leo Rush.
Yeah, Rush, belt collector Leo Rush.
So some big episodes. It's been fantastic. All the support from everyone, and just kicking on with it,
Smash it,
nice.
Stu.
Yeah, no, that's good. And don't forget to check out all of Stu's wrestling podcast. The archive is all available on powered4.tv. He's got some amazing guests on there. One of my favorites is Bill Apter. I'm a huge fan of that guy just because he's influencing the whole Andy Kaufman affair. Like, I'm just huge mark for the Andy Kaufman stuff, and he put that thing together. So I'm massive on him. But and I was thinking, just as I was looking at you two guys for Superstar Pro Wrestling, I'm thinking like one needs to have a red tie, one in blue tie. I feel that's like the image I'm seeing in front of me here.
I've got to get dressed up. Michael always dresses up, but I'll be looking sharp when we do this interview.
Yeah, well, we look forward to that. I tell you,
I keep messing up here. When it comes down to it, I think Jay thinks I'm going to turn up in my civvies, for the comedy night. I'll be dressed up. I'll be looking as sharp as Corey Graves. He's the most sharpest dressed commentator.
Oh, there you go. I'll tell you what, you put a lot of pressure on yourself now. Everyone's going to be expecting. Yeah.
And if you don't look good, I've got a gobbledygooker outfit for you.
Stick down the back just in case. That's what I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Plan B.
Yeah.
I want to thank you two guys for taking time out. It's been a blast talking some football with you and the FA Cup, of course. You can find me all over powered4.tv. I'll next be back on Monday at 5 p.m. live. Until then, enjoy the football. Let's hope we get some results that we all kind of want. And we'll see you back here on Monday at 7 p.m. for more added time.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
A singles outing for the tag champ, and what a match this is going to be for Pat. What a test.
The man that gravity forgot against the phenomenal one.